going on, YouTube? It is your girl, Chrissy, with another episode of Cipher Knowledge with Chrissy. Thank you for joining me, whoever is going to join me, because apparently there's this, I don't know, football game going on that's supposed to be some big deal. I don't know nothing about it. Like, the only thing I like to see is men running down the road, in tight pants. Like, that's about it. But in any case, for those of you who are watching and joining in, thank you so much. Appreciate it. Before I get to my guest this evening, I just wanted to remind you to make sure you subscribe to the YouTube channel. This is the only place that you're going to find Cipher Knowledge with Chrissy. So click on that button, make sure you're subscribed. You may think you are, but you aren't. So just go ahead and take care of that right now. Also, just wanted to give you a little bit extra news. Come March 2021, you will be able to see me on Roku and Fire TV with the Lions Pride Network, but that will be exclusive content. And what you see there, you won't see here. And what you see here, you won't see there. So make sure you go over to Roku and Fire TV and download Lions Pride Network. And on that note, I am going to go ahead and hand it over to my man, Wize el Jefe. So introduce yourself for us.
What's going on? My name is Wize. I am the voice of Stuck in My Mind podcast. That's if you want to put it that way. And CEO of Real Wise Productions, which is crazy because everything stemmed from me starting a podcast.
So what made you decide to start that? Well, and those are one of the questions we asked is, what inspired you to start the podcast?
Honestly, I had been wanting to do a sports podcast at first with one of my homeboys, and I purchased the equipment in March 2019. I purchased a Behringer Studio podcast, and I was going to do a podcast with my homeboy. We was going to do a sports podcast and all that, and we could never link up. We never got together. So I just had the equipment sitting there. So when I got furloughed in 2020, in March 2020, I'm just sitting here with my nephew messing around with the thing. He had already been messing around on YouTube and stuff like that. And this is before we really started anything. Like we had just got, like, him being my nephew, but sometimes when you with family, I kind of drift apart. So we had been apart for a long time. I'm saying, but we grew up. We grew up together. My brother, he's not even my nephew. He's more my brother than anything else. And so we got back together. One day we were just sitting, and I just hit record, and we recorded my podcast. It was 5 minutes. It was nothing. It was just us talking about what we were going to do. And it's funny because I had a Behringer startup studio with the mic stand and everything, and I'm holding the phone with Poppy on the phone so you can hear him into the mic. And I'm talking into the mic, and I'm recording all that through Audacity and all, and it was cool because it's like, all right, you know what? That broke the ice. That made me want to, like, okay, stop being afraid of recording. So from there, it went from 5 minutes to 7 minutes to 15 minutes to 20 minutes and to now where I'm like doing an hour show is nothing. It's just, I started recording
longer than an hour.
like, well, we did 2 hours, but we're not gonna talk about that, man. But can
I go back to something you said before you even go there? You said that you started to get over the fear of recording. Yeah. So what do you think that fear stemmed from?
What do I think it stems from?
Yeah, like what it was that.
That's kind of why I named my podcast Stuck in My Mind, because I was stuck in my mind. I let fear paralyze me and didn't let me go out and do something because I was afraid to fail. and it was just like, if I don't do it, I won't fail. If I don't attempt it, I won't fail.
But not
but if you
doing
don't
it.
attempt it, but if you don't attempt it, it's going to be even worse because you're going to regret not attempting it.
So there can still be something, right? Yeah.
Yeah, no. Listen, I was stuck. I had been into the self-development since 2005. I've read, you name it, I've read it. Tony Robbins, Robert Kiyosaki, so many different people. But again, it was just me holding myself back. No one else. I can't blame anyone. It was just me. Like, I have a pretty good paying job. I can't complain. I get paid to play games, but it's not fulfilling. I get paid to play games. And when people come, like, when they come to the casino, they're like, oh, what's the trick? What do you need to do? I'm like, you know what's the best thing to do? Stay your ass at home. like, it's like, oh, how do you win? Like, you know how you win? Not coming. But but you know what? I understand why people do it. They like to get out and enjoy themselves. But I'm over it. I'm ready to just keep focusing on podcasting and working on a production company. I'm actually
Before we get into that, because I wanna ask you about that. I just wanted to touch on Haywood says that he always lives by the phrase "embrace the fear and just do it." So I just wanted to acknowledge that because
that's what I say. Like, you know what? Once the moment I kicked down that door that was fear, it was crazy. I just started having a good time. It was just like normal. Something had been released inside of me. It's just I didn't know what I wanted until I started podcasting, and I was like, oh shit, this is, sorry, I don't know if I could curse or not, but
yeah, this is, please. And listen, we got Dwayne on, who said he lives by the motto sink or swim, and he is a budding podcaster. So you're gonna want to stick around and see how Wize just kind of evolved out of, being fearful to where the hell he's at now. So yep. So go ahead. I'm sorry, I just wanted to throw that in there because we got a budding podcaster listening. So we gotta, we gotta get ahead and put our teaching hats on.
Any questions he has, man, I'm more than willing to answer. That's one thing with me. Like, I'm an open book. People want to ask me questions. I don't hide. I share my knowledge. I don't know everything, but I'm in the process of learning it. I'm whatever I need to learn about marketing and everything. Everything comes with time, man. And I've been doing it less than a year, but it's just grown. I just got a letter from the platform that I'm on. They wanna put me into the affiliate program, and yes, I'm sharing something that I haven't shared yet. This is something new that just happened. Yeah, so I want to share that. Yeah, they offered me to be in the affiliate program, and to me, that's just showing me that my hard work is paying off. I don't have those crazy numbers, but my numbers are growing gradually. They're going up gradually, and that's with the hard work and the effort that I'm putting in, and with me cross promoting and appearing on shows and having podcasters on my show. It works. People think you're going to come in here and you're going to get 10,000 downloads in the first week. Nah, man, that doesn't work that way. It doesn't.
You will cry yourself to sleep if you think that's going to happen every night.
It's funny because I don't do. I just started doing the hey Randy, I just started doing releasing video on my YouTube channel, right? So I got probably like 7 followers. I got like 7 subscribers, and I'm excited about those little 7 because I just started doing my videos at the beginning of the year. I never. My podcast is straight audio. It's been audio the whole time. Poppy's podcast has just been straight YouTube, and he's built up his subscribers. He's excited because he's building up his subscribers, and we're learning. Like, we've been using StreamYard. And we're now learning about all the special features and all that. Like we
I
didn't
could give
know
y'all a
he could
StreamYard
stream
class.
like all those different platforms at the same time. And
Yes.
one day I told him this. I said, "Yo, son, I think we can stream to all these platforms if you click on it. If you click," he's like, "Nah, son, this just means you just highlight." I said, "Son, nah, seriously, I think we can stream to all these platforms in one time." He's like,
Mm-hmm.
so then one day he's like, "Yo, you're right. We can stream." I was like, "Yeah, I know I was right." I was like, "Yo."
How did the progression go from doing the audio to the video? Like, what made you decide that you wanted to add some video into this?
I don't know. It just seemed like the most logic progression. Like, yeah, I start off with the audio, but everybody eventually goes to video. Yeah, they have their audio, but to me, eventually everybody is going to go to audio because it gives you more of a reach. It's just not just the audio, but
I feel
the
like
video as well gives you a different reach. It gives you a different audience to reach.
And I feel like they get to know you a little bit more, right? Like for me, I know with my viewers and my audience, I love to engage. I love for them to interact. I love for them to chime in. And then also like on the pages, I like to engage with them as well. Like I want to be friends with the viewers. And then some of my viewers were friends before they became viewers. So, and I feel like with the visual, like I talk with my face, right? Like, so I feel like you need to see all of this while I'm talking, and I think it was just natural. I'm starting to possibly think about taking mine and making it audio so that it has another platform, but I don't know.
You tell me you haven't used the audio from StreamYard because you get video and audio.
Mm-hmm. No, I have not.
So
no.
You tell me you already have a pre-audio. You have an audio show pre-done already for you.
Yep, and I don't.
And you haven't, and you've been neglecting that side and not been okay. I'm just running.
Listen, you didn't know about StreamYard. Stop it.
Listen, that's not the point. That's not the point.
We have a question. So Wayne wants to know, is audio better than video? And do you still use audio?
Oh, audio is still my whole love, man. Audio is my love still. I enjoy the video okay, let me get something straight. When I do my podcast and I record with my guests, we use StreamYard because I like to look at my guests and I like for them to look at me so we can interact properly. Like we can see our expressions and all that. So even though my podcast is an audio podcast, I record using StreamYard. Like I might not record the session, but I record. Yeah. Thank you, Randy. But yeah, I love audio, man. It's too much more work. So much more work with video, though.
Okay. So that's what Dwayne was asking because he's a budding podcaster. So he's trying to look at which way, whether he wants to do audio.
I would, for me, if he's going to do it like how you do it, where it's straight live, then do the video aspect of it. But if you're going to start doing where you're recording live program, you're recording videos, like your shows and stuff, that's when you get into the part of editing. And if you don't have an editor on deck, that's not, or if that's not something you're trained in, then that's something you got to learn. Like with me, I'm still learning video editing and I'm still learning the audio editing. But as far as the audio aspect, you have so many free tools out there that you can use. Audacity, I love Audacity. Like I can really sit down and record a podcast and edit my podcast and release it and all that, and it's amazing. But there's tools on it that you would think that you would have to pay for, but no, it's free. It's a free software. You can edit your audio files, your MP3 files, your WAV files. So for me personally, I'm glad I started with the audio because, again, You
have to
edit
learn the editing, yeah.
when you're a beginner, you have to do everything. I still do everything. I still edit on my own podcast. I promote on my own podcast. It's a lot of work.
It's a lot of work.
Right.
And I was telling him that even just marketing and even doing the cross promotions and all of that other stuff, it's a whole nother job.
Yeah. Yeah, it is.
If you want to go somewhere with it, if you're doing it to have fun, then you can just get behind the camera and start filming. Like there's,
Yeah. If you don't care, but I got to the point, I'm at the point where this is something I'm passionate and I love. So of course I want to take it to the next level. So that means I have to improve in certain aspects. I have to, most definitely my audio has to improve. Then, like I said, we're transitioning to video as well. And now with COVID and all that, it's a different beast. But eventually, who knows where we'll be at. Like once things somewhat back to normal and you can have in-house guest studio and all of that. And so the plan is to eventually have my own studio, like my own studio where people could come and record.
And record and just sit and record like at a round table or something like that.
Yeah.
So do you think podcast is going to be the new television, the new entertainment?
It jumped, you know what? It jumped from the 750,000 podcasts that they were to like 1.5 million podcasts this past year. Like, and this is, there's so much
content.
All right. There's so much, it's you know what it is, especially now with COVID, especially, and program and TV programs not really putting out new content like that. Like they should have been started the new season of The Flash and all these other programs that I watch and yeah, and I gotta still wait. And I'm saying I'm waiting until almost February to get a new season, and I gotta wait February to get my new. So of course, there's so much people that want that. I've realized every time I drop a new episode, my numbers spike up. Because people want new content. They blow through your content so fast that they want. And I've been slacking the last month and a half. I've been slacking. I'm like September, October. No, I was hammering them out. Like I was putting them out like 3-4 episodes a week. I've been slacking the last couple of months, I guess. Cause it's also been the holiday season. And I went to Puerto Rico, and
you keep rubbing that damn fucking Puerto Rico in my face. You can take that sand and shove it where the sun don't shine.
I have to apologize now because I went to Puerto Rico.
Yes, because you keep rubbing it all in my face.
But no,
I get it. So the other question is, everybody that can podcast, should they podcast?
No.
That was quick and easy, painless.
No.
How can one determine?
I can't say that. I can't say that. Listen, if you want a podcast, and do it, just do it. And if you suck, keep doing it because eventually you'll get better. It's with practice, man. I know I sucked my first few. I still probably do suck, but
I don't know. I think I was great since the first stuff.
No, it's funny because, like I said, we did our first episode. It was 5 minutes long. So then in September, we re-recorded the first episode, but we left the first 5 minutes. And we added new content. I did like a whole little intro spew about allow me to reintroduce myself. And then I kicked into my intro, and me and Poppy did another 30 minutes just to show the progression from me holding the phone and the mic to me actually having the proper connections connected to the phone and all that. So, yeah.
So as you progressed, how did that feel for you? Because I know for me, like this right here is not my mic. It's just my headphone because I refuse to wear those big headphones just so I don't get noise feedback. which these are like little things that you end up learning like along the way, right? I
Yeah.
had my laptop camera. I now have like this new camera that has the blue light, the blue ring light, but I also have a light above my head that's a softbox light, and I have my boom mic, my boom arm mic, like. But I started on a laptop and this, like that's how I started and progressed, and I felt like every time I got a new piece of equipment, I was like, this is real. Like I'm doing this. Like, oh, I got a banner. Oh, my logo's up. Oh, I'm like, oh, I got t-shirts. Oh, I got like, it was just like, I just felt like it was very invigorating and self-reassuring for me. How did that feel for you?
Oh man, it was amazing. Like I said, once I pressed record and I started recording and started talking, I always considered myself an introvert, right? And who knew I just love to fucking talk. Who knew that? I didn't know. It was who knew I could sit down and have some real great conversation with people. Right? And it's fun, no, because I knew I could have. I like when I speak to people, when I talk to people, and I tend to have just good conversations. So I was like, once I started podcasting, I'm like, okay, well, I can do this for fun, like, okay, and meet some great people, and just it just opened. Like once I started podcasting, and I truly found what I wanted to do. I didn't know what I want. Like I didn't know what I was passionate about. There's like so many different things that I love doing. I didn't have a passion. Like I didn't have a passion for my job. I love my job because, like I said, I get paid to play games, and sometimes you get that asshole, and you just enjoy just sending them home crying.
Money.
but for the most part, is once I got behind the mic, it was like this weight was lifted. Like what? Like this bright light just came and like what? Like when you find what you so passionate about, like whoa, like whoa, wow. And so I recorded, and then I had a friend of mine who's he listens to podcasts. He listens to Joe Rogan. He listens to his podcast.
But does he listen to mine? But does he listen to mine?
Mine. And when he gave me a compliment, I took it. And I'm like, what? The moment he gave me a compliment, it kind of like validated me. I'm like, yo, this dude listens, and he's like, yo, you're pretty good. I'm like, oh, what? He's like, yeah, I listen to you. I'm like, what? So it kind of just, it's cool when you get people like who aren't blowing smoke up your butt, that they're truly, what they're telling you is the truth, what is their opinion, and you feel like it's an honest opinion. It's like, what? It's like, oh man, like people really listen to you. I've had friends send me messages like, yo, this episode you did was cool. I enjoyed it. It helped me do this. So when you get those messages from people, it kind of validates you. It humbles you at the same time. Like, oh man, these people really listen to me. So now you got to be like, oh man, I got to really, I got to really put my game out. I got to just step up my game and get better. And I feel with every episode I improve somewhat. You're always gonna have your little hiccups here and there, but
it happens
with every episode. Yeah, with every episode, I get confident. I get more confident and just have a good time.
So we have a question. Dwayne wants to know what kind of mic and camera. StreamYard camera isn't big enough for two people. So the StreamYard doesn't have a camera. It's just a platform for you too. So that camera it's using is the camera that's either on your laptop or your tablet or your desktop, whatever. From there, I'll let you chime in, Wize, because it depends on what you're looking for. Because go ahead.
All right, we can show us an example. We can show a quick example.
Okay.
Let me cut on. I have my other camera here as well.
Oh yeah, so he's right here, fancy. He got a whole setup. I got a little setup here.
But no, this is the regular $30-something camera that and it works fine. the video looks good. It's not all grainy.
Yeah, no
So this
grainy or
is just,
nothing.
yeah, this is just a little $40 camera that I got on Amazon. Then I have this camera, which is,
See, he about to get fancy right now. He gonna
it's
switch it
not
up.
fancy. It's not
Look,
fancy.
oh, we got a whole nother angle now.
Oh yeah, of course. Well, of course, you just
I
gotta
got
have a
one
different
camera,
setup.
one angle.
I got a camera here and I got this camera here. But yeah, so this right here is my Canon M50, which was an investment. And this is this is the other camera I use.
So it depends. It depends what you're looking for, Dwayne, right? So my camera, I can't show you because you won't see me. And you won't see it because it's the camera I'm using. But it's this little Razor camera. I paid $85 for it. It actually has a little screw at the bottom, so you can screw it onto a tripod. It also has a O-ring attached to it. Yep, those. But you can get the long tripod so that you can push it back, right? Because no camera you get that you're going to sit right up in front of you is going to be able to pull two people in that way. So what you want to do is get a camera that you can put on the tripod and back it up a little bit so that you can get both in. Recognize that when you do that and it's not hanging off your laptop or your tablet or your desktop, that you will see the laptop.
When you get to that, when you start getting into that way, you're going to have, you're definitely not going to use one of these. You'll get more into the other camera the second camera I showed you, which is my Canon, because the screen, like you're able to the shutter, you open the shutter more, and you get to see more of the view. And if that's what he's trying to do, yeah.
It's going to be him and his wife, so they're going to need two on so they'll be together in the same location.
So they just got to put the camera back a little. If that's the case, if they're gonna, unless, like I said, if they're using the Canon, they can put it on a tripod, like you said, and just put it.
But even my little, I wish I could show you my little one. My little tiny round one was, like I said, $80. It wasn't that much, and it actually goes on a tripod, and it's small. It's small around, and it pivots. You could bring it's awesome. Dwayne, I'll send you the link to the one that I got. Just and then you can back it up and use it as well. So now, look, see, Wize stepped up from a mic and a phone to CEO of Real Wize Productions. And what do they have in store? What's going on?
Oh man, we have a lot of things in store. We have Plush coming out, which is Poppy's book. He's working on right now. We're hoping to have it before the end of the year. We have Real Wize Radio. Oh, you didn't know about the book?
I knew about the book, but I don't know what it's about.
Well, I'll let him. That's his thing. I'll let him discuss it. But that's just part of the things on tap. We have Real Wize Radio, which is our radio station, which we kind of had a little soft launch at the beginning of the year, because we were gonna just do a little test run for a couple of days, but then Google surprised us and released our app. So we were like, oh, let's just do it for the new year. And we kept it going for a couple of weeks, and then it started off with a bang. But that's not what what we were playing right then was just music. Like we were just playing music.
And I was rocking to.
Yeah, but eventually people can get music anywhere. So eventually they're gonna get. So we know we've always known we wanted original content. We always known that we want to put out podcasts and live shows, and so it's just that was just to show people that look, we have a station. We're serious. We're serious about what we want to do. Here it is.
Is it still in the Google Play Store?
Yeah, it's still in the store, but we have it off at the moment. Like I can cut it on now and it'll go back to playing music, but we just want to. We want to get all the content that we want to have on,
and it's the Real Wize app, right? The Real Wize Radio.
Yeah, Real Wize Radio. Yeah, it's the
And I
app
still
on
want to put it
Google.
up. I still want to.
Yeah, of course, of course. You can put it out. Don't worry if it's not working. It's because it's off at the moment, but it will be working as soon as we have content. I'll let Chrissy know, and she'll let y'all know to check it out.
But definitely download it so that you have it there. So that when it, because he has some reggaeton and some all of that going on, and now it's chilling, and then like
what, we want to get to the point where we have some original music. We want to bring some. We want to give some people who don't have those connections to the opportunity.
This sounds good. Like local artists and things like that. Because I have my man TJ Frey, who I don't know if he's still watching, but he is another podcaster, but also was a local rap artist and has several, but he's also in that world. So
yes, we're looking for local artists and unknown people who want to put their music out there. Of course, we got to listen to it, and if we like it, we'll play it. But
he says he is.
He is. All right, well,
yeah.
TJ,
so he is the host of. Yeah, he's the host of Spitting with Spitter that comes on live Wednesday, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, and any other fucking time he feels like it, because he just be like, I'm about to go live. So that's just how many people we have that watch the show and wants to be on the show. So definitely check him out as well. But yeah, like I said, he has all the, the local artists, and if they have a platform where they can stream their stuff, they're coming up and stuff. It ain't nothing like putting that hand out to reach out.
And listen, it's an internet radio station, it's worldwide. It's nowhere we're not. You can't listen to us. So we felt like, you know what? Let's just give people another platform to express themselves.
I hear you. So it's going to be recorded podcasts, live podcasts, local artists with original content and music. I think this is going to be the shit, yo. Like,
and it's crazy because it's like I'm in the Poconos. Poppy's up there in the capital region, up by Albany and Schenectady up there. We got Brandy out in San Diego. So you have people looking all over the country basically, like, for talent, and we just like I said, we just want to put out some good stuff, and we just want to put out some good content, give people options and other things to listen to. They don't got to keep listening to the same. Listen to real people. That's what I'm talking about. Like, listen to some real people. Like, all y'all want to flock to these, and it's nothing. Listen, these celebrities who have their podcasts, that's great. That's awesome. But well, check out some real people.
Like, so do you find? Like, yeah, I'm regular. I'm extra regular though. There's a little
you're extraordinary regular.
Like, yeah, there you go. I like that. See, that's why we peoples. Do you find yourself, now that you're really like in the podcast and listening to other podcasters more than television or radio or anything like that, do you find yourself kind of more involved in it with other people?
You know what? With me editing my podcast, I analyze everything now. Like, when I'm listening to interviews and everything, I'll listen to how many times they say, "Oh, you know what I'm saying," or
ums like 1,000 million times.
So when I listen to another podcast, like, I'm like, okay, what would have I done in that situation? Like, what would I've done differently from them, or would I keep that in my? So I listen to podcasts to help me see where I can improve in my own as well. But I listen to my shit all over again, because I want to know how bad I sound, or just to be like, where can I improve?
There are some. You ever come out of a show or a recording and say to yourself,
or say, I'm never releasing that shit ever? Like,
Have you
I'm
ever?
not releasing that shit ever. Yeah, I got
Yeah.
those. I got a few of those
Well,
that I
mine
already
was
knew.
released, so phew.
Yeah, no, I got a few. See, that's the good thing about pre-recording. Like,
Yes.
if it's a trash interview, you can be like, "Fuck this!" Like, no, I'm not releasing this.
But what
No,
do
this is.
you tell? So, what do you tell the person that you interviewed after you don't release their stuff?
Don't tell them shit. What I gotta tell them? Like,
But they don't. But they don't come looking for it.
I've. Oh man, I don't know. I usually, if I don't get back to you, I have never. But okay, I can't say I've released.
You try to clean that shit up now, right? Like
No,
all the
no.
booze.
Let me correct, because right, I had somebody that, but I knew our episode sucked because from the beginning I said the wrong name. It just was bad. I wasn't prepared. So I was like, "Yo," I sent them a message to your son. I can't put this shit out. I said, honestly, I can't put this episode out because I can't disrespect you because you put your time and effort into it, and I wasn't prepared, and the episode sucked. I can't put it out, and he understood. So we ended up we recorded another episode, which I got to release soon. But when I know it sucked, man, I definitely let that person. This is when I got to reach out because their episode was just horrible. They were under the weather. I was under the weather.
So
I don't know what I recorded, so I got to reach out to them and let them know, like, yeah, I'm not releasing the episode.
So mine is live, and it's a fucking crapshoot, right? It's kind of like we don't know what's gonna happen. I think my personality is big enough to fill a room, so I don't give a fuck.
It is.
So, I don't know if that was a compliment or an underhanded compliment.
It was a compliment. Straight compliment.
So I just kind of take it. Like, I'm just gonna go with it, whatever the case may be. But I want to answer the question that I asked you, and then we have another question for you, which is, I find myself watching podcasts more, not to critique or I think even learn anything from it. I find myself, because I want to support the other people. I think that's just the person in me, the nurturer in me. I watch them because I want to support the other people. And I know how much work it is to climb the ladder, and just even, that's why I end up doing it.
All right. I support the people I like. Like, if I like your show, I'll like you. I tune into your show and I'll comment, and because I enjoy the content that you're putting out. So I'm not gonna just listen to anyone. This is time's precious. That's one thing you never get back is time.
Well, yeah, and the words that come out of your mouth.
Yeah. but for me to I was not wasting. For me to just use my time to listen to a fellow podcaster, then it has to be something for me to gain out of it. And with your show, I always have a good time with your show. So
I appreciate that.
So I watch your show, and like the pod guys, I watch them. They're funny. Screaming Chewy, I check him out. So I check out my friends. I check out people that I've had on my show, especially if I enjoy the content that they're putting out. Then I support my friends 100%. I support podcasters. I'll download it. I might not always listen to the episodes, but I'll download it so they can get the credit and all that. Like, what does it hurt for me to download the episodes?
It doesn't. It doesn't. And I want to get to a little bit of that, but I want you to be able to answer his question first. Do you prefer pre-recorded or live?
Okay. This, for me.
Ooh, he got excited about this one.
I prefer pre-recorded when it's my show, because then if I mess up, I can edit it and everything. But I love being live on someone else's show because it's no work for me. There's
just gotta show up.
No work for me when I love being a guest. Period. Like, you want me to be on your podcast? Hell yeah! Like, yeah, I get to talk. Yeah, definitely.
The more that I've been doing that, the more, like, I'm like, all right, yeah, like I'm still speaking my mind and having that platform to speak, but shit, I ain't got to do all the work behind it. Like, you know. So
Yeah.
I'm sure you guys have seen me post a couple of the episodes with me jumping in with Wize and Brandy and Poppy. Um, those are usually Thursdays at 7 p.m.
Yep. Thursdays at 7. That's
Yep.
Talking Real 1000.
Mm-hmm.
So
And so
yeah,
I
that's
usually jump.
popping.
Yeah, I usually jump on with them if I'm free. I'm like, oh, you could come in, and I'm like, I look like shit. Not today. Like that's the behind the scenes conversation that nobody hears. But no, I think it is. I think it is fun, kind of being on someone else's. You get to cross promote as well, and you get to hear other people's thoughts, right? Like you get some feedback. You kind of okay, do that. Oh, that was a good. Like you learn. So with Dwayne and his wife, when they had reached out to me about wanting to do the podcast after he had did my podcast, he did my domestic violence episode. He's an author, and he wants to do something not related to that with his wife. I'm not going to give his content away. I'll let him do that. But when it came to me, they, they were, the wife was pretty surprised that I like was so open in offering this information. But I feel like, there's so much information out there. There's so much content out there. There's so many different platforms that we can all eat. We can all eat. There's no reason why I shouldn't be able to share information on how to do this, how to get this done. You may be able to share stuff with me, but I feel like, you know, as long as you're not on Sundays at 8 o'clock, shit, it don't matter to me, right? Like, I don't care.
That's another reason I prefer like the pre-audio recorded and stuff like that, because I can release whenever I want. Like I don't have to release. I don't. I'm not going. I'm not pigeonhole myself to. I'm not saying that you pigeonhole yourself. This is a great time slot. I'm saying this is a great slot.
Well, once
It's a great
football's
show.
over.
It's a great show. Yeah. Once you see football season over, it's great. We'll be
Yeah.
good. But but yeah, with me, releasing it myself. It kind of it's helpful with me in that regards that I don't have to worry about if I don't release an episode today. I ain't got to worry about it. Like every Sunday, you got somewhere you need to be.
Yeah.
You need to be at your house recording or wherever you need to be there recording. No, not with me. With me, I record my episodes. I'll save them. I'll edit them and then drop them.
Whenever, yeah. So he asked, what did you do to get a good following?
Oh man, I bust my. I promoted everywhere, man. I cross promoted. I just put myself out there, man. I started Instagram, Twitter. Even though I still don't use Twitter that much, and I need to get on my Instagram game a little bit more. But I joined a
So
bunch of
just so you
groups.
guys know out there, February 21st, I'm going to have Jeff Twaski on the show, and he is a Twitter guru. So also make sure you look out for that. I guess you got to watch Wize, right? So we can figure out what we're doing wrong on Twitter.
Yeah, because
Yeah.
I don't know nothing about Twitter. I know I'd send some tweets out, but I don't know anything about branding and marketing on Twitter. I'm learning now on Instagram, but mainly I usually use Facebook groups. Cross promotion is key. Cross promotion is definitely key. Getting on shows, so because that'll be a completely different audience that you're used to talking to. So it also that to me is key when podcasters do cross promotion. It is really key because again, that's a completely different audience than what you would usually get.
Yeah, and you're tapping into their audience, and then it's going to be they're tapping into your audience as well, right? So it's a win-win. Nobody's really losing out of it because the people who want to come over are going to come over, and like that's one of the other things that I think is important too, is that not to get boggled down with the numbers in the beginning, right? And you can tell me if I'm wrong, but not to get boggled down with the numbers because those numbers can drive you insane. First of all, some of the analytics aren't even correct, right? They can tell you had this many views, but they were 3-second views. right? So do those really count? Those 3-second views really don't count. You want to you want longer views versus just a bunch of views. So I would take 20 1-hour views over 200 views any day, because that's going to mean more.
Yeah, because those 20 are actually learning something that they can really like, oh, this is something I need to share with somebody. Whereas if it's a little 3-second clip, no,
Yeah.
Especially with a show like yours where it's knowledge based, where people can gain some knowledge from watching your show. Not saying they can't gain nothing from listening to my podcast. They can. I've had some great people on my show. I've had some very positive people. Like I've had a couple of high school friends on that. One, she had gastric sleeve surgery, and we talked about the life changes that came with that. Another one, he's the Brooklyn king. He's the king in Brooklyn in the real estate market right now. He's killing it, and we just sat down and had a conversation on manifestation and setting goals and mindset and all these other things, and it just turned out to be one of my favorite episodes.
See, yep. And I feel like what the other added benefit to doing a podcast is you learn, right? You learn as well from your guests. And what I say about this show is that you either learn from a professional that I have on, or you're going to learn from somebody who has insight and experience into what we're discussing. So, that's why I'm like, this is awesome. Like, you get all this. So I was talking to my son this morning, and I felt like, I felt like really great. I don't even know if I could say any of this on air, but I'm just gonna fucking say it. I don't know if I'm giving people's information away, but one of my guests was so one of my guests, I'm gonna say it. One of my guests is a wedding, like a wedding planner and stuff. But that's not what she came on my show for. She came on my show for this other reason. But she's also a wedding planner. And another one of my guests, who she's already married, but she's coming into New York, and found out that my guest is a wedding coordinator and a wedding, all of that. So two of my guests that I had on the show, who are on total opposite sides of the world, are gonna meet so that she can have her wedding, and then I'm gonna be there. Like, I mean, like, how awesome is that? Like, that connection,
awesome.
right? Like, yeah. So I got someone who's all the way on the other side of the time zone, and then this one on this, and then they're meeting because of me, and then they're gonna have the wedding, and I'm gonna be there, and I'm just like, like, at the end of the day, if nothing else, I love this, right? Like, I love this. So this is the Mrs. Hey, Dwayne's missus. So she's the budding podcaster with him. So thank you for popping
any questions they want to ask, shoot.
Yeah, Kay, you know what? I'm gonna ask him the question, because he does live and he does audio too, but I'm gonna ask something we talked about. So one of her questions to me was, if you have somebody on the show who's talking too long, how do you tell them to shut the fuck up? But she ain't asked me like that.
How do you tell somebody shut up?
Or like, can we cut this? Like, it's long-winded. Oh, like, you said the same thing 5 times.
Yeah. I guess you can do it in a way where oh damn.
It's hard if you're pre-recorded, right?
I don't
edit it later.
I guess because if I say it, then anybody like who's watching and they come on my show and they know and they're talking and I use it on them, they're gonna be like, "Oh, you mentioned this on the show, and now you're using it on me." Like, but
he doesn't want to spill his tea. He doesn't want to spill his tea.
No.
She said, "I heard you saying my name, so I had to pop up." Chrissy, you getting married? Who, me? I'm not the one. It was my girlfriend who's good. She's renewing her vows. Stop it.
Clifton is always the girlfriend. Clifton is always the girlfriend.
She said yes, or she did. Like, I'm asking the question. So I'll tell you what I told her. I said, like, for me, it doesn't really. I will wait for them to take a breath, right? If I can, wait for them to take a breath and like kind of cut in and put the show back on track, if I can. I said it's not that difficult either. Like if you're doing a live like this, to have a little cue, like you have a conversation before. Yeah, have a little conversation before scratching nose. They know to, all right, come on.
No, but you know what? With time, you go with you start learning how to control the show. You really do. You really start controlling them. You know when you to interject so that you can really get them moving on from that topic. Because she's probably listening, but I'm gonna blow her up anyway. She's my girl, but I'm gonna blow up anyway. Brandy J tends to kind of rant sometimes.
But that's the thing. That's why she's gonna do her solo thing.
I know. I love her. That's my girl. Yeah, that's my girl. She knows I got nothing but love for her, and I keep it 100 with her though. I'm saying wouldn't you rather have a friend that's completely honest with you?
Yes, hell yeah. Don't miss me with that bullshit.
In the meeting we was having, she kind of like was she was kind of going on a little bit extra, but sometimes you gotta just know when to, like, all right, you gotta cut them off. And she
don't worry, I wasn't doing it to you. I wasn't doing it to you. Now he's gonna sit here for the next 5 minutes analyzing whether I'm doing this shit to him or not. No, I'm not.
No, because you know what it was? No, because when we did my show, you said something to me like, yo, you're so easy to talk to. Like, I'm like, I don't know. I just
he was just listening. I was doing all the fucking talking because it was 2 hours.
That's what it is. I just let her take over, and she just ran with it and just gave me 2 hours of content.
I'm sorry. when you for MLK, when you had something happen and Bobby had something going on, me and Brandy is just sitting there and I was like, well, fuck this shit, yo. So it's your girl Chrissy, and like I don't know if you need to go back and watch the replay, and I just took over. I was like, well, I'm gonna monopolize their platform since they got some technical difficulties. I come on every Sundays 8:00 Eastern Standard Time. Like, yo, I just straight up like, what?
I would have did the same thing.
I don't know. Like I think my older sister always had a problem with me with that. Like we could go to an event for her, and I'd walk in and take over the whole goddamn thing. And she'd be like, my mom would be like, take Chrissy with you. She'd be like, I'm not taking her with me. She takes over everything. She's not coming with me. But no, listen, definitely, podcast is an art form. It's not, don't think you're going to jump on and have, like Wize said, 10,000 downloads or listen, I mean, I have 805 followers.
When I saw my first episode had 10 downloads, I was excited. Like,
exactly.
I was like, what? 10 people listen to me? Oh man. So it was crazy because I released my first episode the end of April, right? And by the end of July, I had like 100 and something downloads, and I was happy. I was. You couldn't tell me nothing. I had 100 and something. I was like, what? 100 people. All right, cool. So then, come July, me and Poppy have a show, and I'm like, you know what? I set goals. That was something that I started doing, was I set goals for my podcast. So I was like, if by the end of the year, if I can get 1,200, 1,500 downloads, I'm good. And do 70 episodes, and I'm happy. If I get that many downloads, I'll be happier than a pig and shit, whatever. And so when I set that goal, something happened that things just started falling in place. I started meeting these connections and getting all these people together and having some great people on the show, that by the end of September, I went from 100, 200 and something, almost 400 downloads to being over 1,000 by the end of August. By the end of September, I had reached my goal.
Wow.
I had already reached my goal of how many downloads I wanted for the year. And I was like, but Poppy the thing was, Poppy had already set a different number. He's like, he says 25. He was like, yo, 25 easily. He's like, yo, he says you love this too much. He says, when I listen, he says, when I do this, yeah, I sound good. He says, but when I listen to you do it, he says, man, you sound good. He says, I'm gonna follow you. He's like, yo, he basically said, yo, you the flagship for everything we're about to do. He's like, you the face, you're gonna do this. Yeah. And so it just went from whatever it was, my goal, to now by the end of the year, Poppy's goal was 25. He said 25. I surpassed that though.
Oh, see?
I surpassed that. And so it was awesome. Like when I reached the goal, I was like, oh shit. I'm like, I didn't think I would reach this many. And so it was great. It's a great feeling, and I love it. I appreciate everybody out there that's listening, and I just gonna keep doing it.
We're gonna plug your stuff in a second, but I'm gonna ask you the final question of the evening, which you should know since you watch the show. I ask every one of my guests at the end of the episode, if you can provide one piece of lasting advice for our viewers, what would you tell them?
Just don't let fear stop you. No, just don't let fear stop you. That's for me, that's something that holds a lot of people back, is being afraid to fail. But their logic is, if I don't try, then I can't fail. Mm-hmm. And we discussed this. If you don't try, then you're gonna live with that regret. So stop being afraid. Go out and if you like your friends, they want a podcast, do it.
Yep. And I think it's going to be great. Their concept is great. That's why I don't want to give it away. I think it's going to be.
If you say they're going to be great, I'm definitely going to tune in and check them out.
See, look at that. Look at that. You already got a gold star. So tell us where we can find you.
I'm on every streaming major platform except for Pandora. They've been denying me. I don't know. They've been denying me. I don't. I'm on. Listen, I can't say I'm not on Pandora. I'm on Pandora on somebody else's show. So I'm on Pandora, but I'm actually on a Brandy's show. So even Poppy's on Pandora. I'm like, yeah, he's a YouTube show. He's on Pandora. I'm like, oh man. But yeah, just don't be afraid, man.
So you could look up for Real Wize, or you could look for a Stuck in My Mind podcast. If you head over to the website, you can find the information to the other shows.
Yeah, you can definitely find the link to my show.
Yeah. I want to thank everybody for tuning in to another episode. Next week, yeah, there's only one show on Sunday. It's the week after that I have a double header. And no, that'll be, well, listen, I'm going to still be on Super Bowl, right? Like, yeah, oh, look at this. All these fans, all these football fans will be like, what's wrong with you, chick? I do UFC. I do boxing. That's what I do. You know, I got the guns. They're there. You see them?
Oh, you mentioned UFC. You seen Conor got knocked out yesterday.
You know what? I saw all the pre-shows. It was too cheap to pay for the damn pay-per-view, so I got to watch it for free when it comes on replay. But I heard he got knocked the fuck out.
He got knocked. I didn't watch it. I was passed out, but yeah. Once you get to a certain age, you can't stay past.
You want to
preview Cipher knowledge?
Jeez,
hey, I'll take it. If that if Chrissy's gonna be your first guest, I'll most definitely tune in.
I think it's gonna be interesting. I think we could talk behind the scenes. But listen, I want to thank everybody for tuning in and watching another episode of Cipher Knowledge with Chrissy. As I always leave and part with you, if all you've experienced is all you know, then you are in a deficit of knowledge. So thank you so much for joining the Cipher. Be on the lookout. Go to YouTube. Make sure you subscribe. Hit that button. Hit the notification button so you know when I'm going live next. Like I said, be on the lookout for the Roku and Fire TV at Lions Pride Network. Come March 2021, there will be exclusive content streaming there. So listen, have a beautiful, beautiful night. Don't drink too much watching this game. Do whatever makes you happy. One love.